Sunday afternoon football at the new home of the Matildas. Where else would you rather be on a massive Sunday of women's football here in the Liberty A-League and on 10 Play? What a great spot that is to watch some football for your Sunday. Jeff Hopkins' side managed to bounce back last week after failing to get any points in the first two games of the season with a strong original rivalry win, and his team will be fancying themselves once again today after winning their last 7 meetings against the side from the Hunter. A very smiley Jeff Hopkins. The Jets, on the other hand, with an uphill battle at the home of the Matildas. And let's have a look at how the sides match up today. Jeff Hopkins, one change for him. Emma Checker drops out of the match day squad with a hamstring injury, meaning American Tori Hansen comes into the starting 11 after making her club debut last week. A pair of Matildas legends start for victory in Lydia Williams and Elise Kellen-Knight. Over 200 Matildas caps between them, and fellow Matilda Emily Gielnik is still coming back from injury and expected to come off the bench. Some massive outs for Gary Van Egmond's side. Melina Ayres is out for a second week in a row, so she won't get to face her former side today. Didn't travel either. New signing Exausi Kazinga is unavailable, but the biggest out of all, Cass Davis, a game after becoming the Jets' all-time record appearance maker and the hero of last week, is unavailable with a foot infection. Her record of 132 straight games comes to an end. 10 years of never missing a game has finished. A sad one for her. Maybe she had some annual leave banked up, some long service leave. Hopefully she's back into the action sooner rather than later. There is Kayla Morrison, the Melbourne Victory captain, scored last week in the original rivalry, as did Mackenzie Wienert. What a captain she is for their side. The American who played with the Portland Thorns as a national team replacement contract. And we have a moment of silence here at the home of the Matildas. A moment of silence for Remembrance Day yesterday as we remember the fallen soldiers. Lest we forget, as we get on with the action here, Alex Huhn, with Cass Davis out, will have to fill the boots of their ever-present captain. Has looked great since coming back into the league. Did miss a game through suspension after being sent off in a late tussle in the original rivalry in round 1. The Jets' only win of the season so far. Both captains with the pleasantries as Anna-Marie Keeley leads the officiating team, assisted ably by Misuk Park, Janelle Samet and Andrew Memarakis. Big shoes to fill for Alex Huhn, who has been capped by the Matildas, so plenty of pedigree there. And Jeff Hopkins, talk about pedigree, joined from the Brisbane Roar back in 2016, and what a stint he's had at the Melbourne Victory. 16 appearances for Wales as well. A championship winner is Jeff Hopkins, a winner through and through. And there is his side. Emily Gielnik, wearing that number 9 at the back, will be hoping to get on sooner rather than later. The Matilda still coming back from injury. Gary Van Egmond, his opposite number. First coached the Jets men's side back in 2005. Obviously the father of Matilda's star, Emily Van Egmond. 15 appearances for Australia too. And won the 2007-8 A-League Men's Championship with the Jets. The Coach of the Year in that year too. As Stand By Me plays at the home of the Matildas. A sunny day, but just the 18 degrees. Campbell Johnson here in commentary today. And what an afternoon it is. Mindy Barbieri she gets the opportunity to face her former side. And I am joined by former Western Sydney Wanderers coach and Matilda, Kath Cannuli. What an afternoon for football.
What an amazing afternoon, Cam. It's going to be an exciting one here at the home of the Matildas. It's great to see the crowd out there and people supporting the Liberty A-League.
And what a facility this is in Melbourne too. One that I'm sure will play a massive role in bringing through the next generation of Matildas, Kath.
It sure will. All this investment, especially after the Women's World Cup that we've seen in Australia, it's so important that we continue on the legacy that the FIFA Women's World Cup has left, and more fields and resources like we're seeing here at the home of the Matildas. We need to see more of it across Australia.
Victory with an early surge forward. The American Mackenzie Wienert was trying to make the move down that right-hand flank. Has looked great since coming into the league. Mackenzie Wienert almost got a goal in round one, but was ruled out for interference or offside by a player coming across the goal at this very ground. They've only played at this facility the once. Melbourne Victory, as the American Isabel Nino can't find a teammate, a little bit aimless. The Jets struggling in the early parts of the season despite winning their round one F3 derby clash. Melina Ayres the goal scorer in that one. They did manage to get a late equaliser last week, but it was from Cass Davis, who's not in the squad today. It was some goal too against the Western Sydney Wanderers, but just struggling so far, the Jets. And Victory going the other way towards that near post, fumbled by Nino and followed up by Korea Aquino, or Rachel Lowe in fact, punishing with her first goal as a Melbourne Victory player came over from Sydney FC this off-season and opens her account for her new side.
What a great finish there by Rachel Lowe, just right in the right place at the right time. Isabel Nino had to do better there as that ball comes across. She needs to own that ball in that part of the box, and Rachel Lowe was there for the scraps and puts Melbourne Victory ahead.
A horror start for Gary Van Egmont's side. She'd already assisted in Melbourne Victory colours, Rachel Lowe, but now her first goal for the club.
It's always hard enough travelling to Melbourne and playing against a team like Melbourne Victory, but to go down in the first couple of minutes is going to be tough for the Newcastle Jets and how they regroup mentally from this.
Conceding in under 3 minutes. We'll see how they bounce back. Lacking goals in this side at the moment. Gooch does very well. She's been fantastic for the Jets this season. An opportunity for them to bounce back as Kayla Morrison just struggles to clear, but does so in the end. And Lara Gooch, one of the bright sparks for the Newcastle Jets this season. Still early days. Bringing in some more players, some reinforcements. The Jets. Exausi Kazinga, the DR Congo international signing during the week. That's a brilliant run from Korea Aquino, who just can't get past the defender in Tash Pryor. The Burundara Eagles start.
What a great ball by Rachel Lowe, though. The way she's actually weighted that ball in behind for Aquino was just world class. Elise Keller-Knight gets on the ball, finds Rachel Lowe, and then Rachel Lowe with that ball in behind is absolute world class.
And in fact, it was Claudia Chico coming across from right back, the former Wellington Phoenix player, able to save the day for her side. Must be said, those gold numbers on the back of the jerseys, not the easiest to see for the Newcastle Jets. And Rachel Lowe, she came into the Sydney FC side partway through last year after an injury to Madison Haley, who's now at Brighton and Hove Albion, the American. Did very well last season as an import. And Rachel Lowe playing in that false 9, number 10 kind of role, really where she thrives. Jamila Rankin, former Brisbane Roar fullback, bombing forward. A strong addition to Jeff Hopkins' side. So much experience at a young age, Jamila Rankin. The Lismore product. Here's Goad. Manages to deliver towards that back post. It'll stay in play though. Here's Kellen Knight. Just not enough purpose on the ball. Those forward runs, and this is a good one from Lara Gooch, streaming forward. Great ball out wide for Lauren Allen. And now played in behind is Barbieri. Does the flag go up? That touch just too heavy. The flag does go up either way. But a squandered opportunity. Misuk Park raising the offside flag. And their best opportunity of the game so far goes a begging.
Lara Gooch has done really, really well there. It was just unfortunate for Mindy Barbieri. She just needs to hold her run just that half a second more, and then she would have had a shot off on goal.
A good ball in behind from Libby Copas-Brown too. Back in the Liberty A-League after spending some time in the UK with Lewes FC. A great club in England, doing some great things as well. As it's given away, Lara Gooch making her way inside, striking from range. It's a good hit from Lara Gooch, and Lydia Williams showing every bit of her experience, the 35-year-old. Fantastic.
What a save by Lydia Williams. But you've got to make credit here to Lara Gooch. She's started off this game with absolute energy. She's excited to get into those areas. Once she does, and she's absolutely backed herself here. Fantastic strike. Need to see more of this.
Just 18 years of age, Lara Gooch, the Warners Bay junior. And has been so good since coming into the Newcastle Jets at the age of 16. But this year, really breaking through as Burrows with the corner. And doesn't challenge the Matilda's legend, Lydia Williams, too much. But this season, Lara Gooch really stepping up.
I really like the way she started this season. I think she's a great young talent that's coming through, and she's getting the opportunities now to be able to start and to be able to get a lot of game time. The most important thing here for Newcastle Jets, as we're seeing year and year, a way that great players that come through the Jets system then get taken by, you know, the bigger clubs like the Sydney FCs and the Melbourne Cities coming in. I was just about
to say, a sky blue side tend to poach. You see Kirsty Fenton is a prime example of that in recent years.
That's why the club needs to make sure that when they do have this homegrown young talent that are coming through, that they do sign them on multi-year deals to be able to lock them into the club and keep using these young talents that come through to build the foundations of the Newcastle Jets. And that's how you start to build your teams for the future, and that's what we need to look at in the Liberty A-League now.
Unfortunately, we've got the biggest season we've ever seen in the Liberty A-League, a true home and away. So that will allow clubs to sign players on multi-year deals, especially these young players. And Gary Van Egmont's putting faith in the 18-year-old, which is great to see, and instilling her with some confidence. You've been in a similar situation, Kath, when you were at the Wanderers as well, with a young player. One that comes to mind is Alexia Postolakis, giving her game time at such a young age, which, look, the Wanderers are doing that a lot at the moment, but how important is it for those young players to get that game time?
Absolutely, and it's a catch-22, right? You want to give them the game time, you want to give them the opportunities, but also the players need to be up for the challenge as well. So we need to make sure that, you know, they're not drowning once we do give them the opportunities, that they are holding their own. There is a lot of young talent in the Liberty A-League, young Australian talent that are doing fantastic, especially now with the home and away season. To be able to get top minutes in a great league is great for them.
There's a good ball in behind from Barbieri. Claudia Chico with the overlap, just couldn't quite get there, and you're absolutely right. The Liberty A-League is brimming with talent, where stars are made, the next Matildas and current Matildas. You can see them all here. And if you're under 16, you can see them for free live in the flesh with the Liberty A-League Pass. Make sure you sign up for that one on aleagues.com.au. Only takes a second. Allows you to go to every Liberty A-League game for free. Maria Aquino just unable to pick it back up for the Melbourne victory.
The Newcastle Jets were lucky there that she didn't actually get to it, because as Tash Pryor's coming across to cover Alex Huon, They're Melbourne Victory are free in the middle.
Claudia Chico with the throw-in. Lauren Allen, another one of those players who's really come into her own over the last year or so. Last year in particular, and physical. That time from Emma Dundas. Another youngster throwing her weight about against a very experienced Matilda, no less. The 16-year-old. Bang! Have that, Elise Kellon night. 100 Matilda's caps, I don't care.
I absolutely love that from Emma Dundas. 16-year-old junior Matilda, obviously coming through the Emerging Jets program as well. To be able to see that, it's fantastic to see her.
Victory with another good opportunity just there and given away by Isabel Nino, out of the hands. Beattie Goad picking it up. Rachel Lowe looking for two. Falls to her, eventually gets it past Nino. Can she get a brace? Off the line by Claudia Chico. She can't punish the Jets. Rachel Lowe and can't grab her double.
Very unlucky there from Rachel Lowe, but she does need to do better in that instance. You get that opportunity. She's done the hard work and she's taken a touch around the keeper. She's got to put that in the back of the net. Jets are very lucky to not get away with that one.
Isabel Nino giving away possession far too easily as well, it must be said. She may lead the league in long passes, but her error led to the first goal and could have well led to a second there. This is better from Victory, who are all over the Jets at the moment. Here's Lowe out wide. Marked by Chico. Cuts inside. Looking for assistance, and we'll find it. The overlap from Jamila Rankin. Delivering. It's a good ball, and Tash Breyer to the rescue. This is just how close it was. Beattie Goad picked it up, and Knowles, it doesn't get closer than this.
It does, and what a great little ball in by Beattie Goad. And Rachel Lowe there, she just continues her run. Again, she takes her touch around the keeper, and she needs to put that in the back of the net.
Hands on heads there from Rachel Lowe. Just inches away from a double within 10 minutes. Alana Murphy taking the corner for Melbourne Victory. Stepping up in the absence of Paige Zoyce, and as well Alex Chidiak, who's not with the side, but won the Julie Dolan after only playing half a campaign basically last year. And a player who's really impressing at the start of this campaign, Alana Murphy. Beattie Goad getting plenty of action to start this game. And Victory really playing through the Jets quite easily at the moment. Rebecca Burrows into the starting 11. Claudia Chico just losing her footing momentarily. No injury though, thankfully. Correa Aquino won by Tash Pryor, and the foul given by Anna Marie Keeley. And it didn't look like there was anything untoward in the challenge from Tash Pryor, back in football after taking a hiatus due to head injuries. Let's have another look back at it.
I think that's a bit of a touch and go one, a little bit of a soft penalty there for Tash Pryor.
It's physical, no doubt, but whether there was anything more sinister about it, not entirely sure. But either way, Victory still going. Weena unable to find a teammate, and she's offside in the end, even though I believe it came off a Newcastle Jets player. So I'd like to see if that did take a touch. You saw a few, you heard a few in the crowd going, how? But we'd like to have another look at that.
We've got to highlight here, though, Melbourne Victory's combination play, especially in wide areas, to be able to get those wider players in behind.
And here it is. Maybe it's this first one, just in behind. It must be from Mackenzie Weena, because that one certainly doesn't make any sense, so it must be that first ball, which is offside. Just a delayed Call from the officiating team, but correct nonetheless.
You can never go against the referees, Campbell. The referee is always right in the end.
Here's Murphy. The refs always do have the best angles as Korea Aquino. And bobbled by Isabel Nino. A shaky start to the game for her. Just struggling to hang on to the ball at moments. Obviously cost them for the opener. Was in no danger there, but still not the most confident of claims from the American. Here's Lydia Williams. A little bit of an interesting situation in the goalkeeping department for the Melbourne Victory at the moment. Dundas, the youngster, doing very well as it's won back by Weiner. Beatty Goat in so much space. Aquino, the offside flag shouldn't go up, and it does. Once more on that far side. Victory denied of a breakaway, and here it is.
That's super,
maybe just
super
in
close.
front of the player.
Maybe
just in front of the player, Korea Aquino. Bit of an awkward one for her, though. Either way, they're in the best position. Here's Pryor. Kenzie Weiner. A lively start to the game. 2 offsides for the Melbourne Victory. Weiner and Aquino denied by the flags. Physical once more. This time going the way of the Jets. Lorena Bowman, the Swiss international, in at left back. A good addition for the Jets, some international pedigree. Here's Aquino. Jets just struggling to build, and a foul against Korea Aquino, who did start in the NPL Victoria for Burundara Eagles. Scored 31 goals in 21 games. Very impressive record. The Japanese forward, just 24 years of age. And we've seen that a few times in recent years, of those internationals coming to play in the NPL and being picked up by A-League sides. Mario Hecker springs to mind. Even Victory have a few today. Sarah D'Apollonia on the bench, the American, who played in Queensland with Peninsula Power up in Redcliffe.
It's fantastic to see these players that are coming out of the NPLs in their various states and actually get an opportunity to play in the Liberty A-League. It's great to see that the head coaches of these teams are going out and actually scouting in our NPL, because this is where majority of our players are going to start to come through to feed into our leagues now.
Here's Burrows. Just muscling off Rachel Lowe.
The Newcastle Jets here have just got to keep possession. They've just got to get control of this game. They don't want to keep giving away possession and getting caught on the back foot. They just need to settle into the game.
Kellen Knight, great to see her back in action after spending a fair bit of time on the sidelines, and you may recognise her from the FIFA Women's World Cup coverage as well. Here's Aquino. Muscles off. Alex Hewen. Weiner takes a touch, shooting. And wide of the mark. But lively from the American.
Aquino's done really well here to pick up this ball. As soon as she plays it in, she needs to go and get herself into the box, maybe to get, forward run, maybe to get the ball back. She's done it a couple of times where she's just taken that extra second to release the ball. She just needs to release that ball just a touch quicker.
Here's Pryor. Very interesting to see her back in the league. Tash Pryor suffered some major head injuries when she was at Canberra United. In her second stint now at the Jets. Was unconscious for more than 4 minutes against Sydney FC a few years ago. It was her 5th head injury, concussion, in less than 6 seasons. Decided to retire at the age of 21, and now age 25 is back after being inspired by the Women's World Cup as it's delivered towards Jessica Nash at the back post now. It was Tori Hansen rising for the victory, the American.
What a great corner. Fantastic delivery there. She was just unfortunate to get the timing right to make a clear contact with it. But a great corner, great delivery. You've got to use the wind, especially when it's going your way. You've got to take that to your advantage and actually try and put these goalkeepers under pressure.
Here's Aquino. Alex Huynh, physical enough just to make it difficult for Korea Aquino. And it's a good opportunity today for Mindy Barbieri. Up against her former side, made her Melbourne Victory debut at 15 years of age. Over 50 appearances for the club. And in the last 2 years has hopped around a little bit. Was at Adelaide United last campaign and now at the Newcastle Jets.
It was also a last-minute signing, wasn't it? We didn't think that we were going to see Mindy Barbieri back in the Liberty A-League, and to see her pop up for Newcastle Jets, I think it's fantastic to see a talent like Mindy back in the league. And sometimes football doesn't always go your way, but I think Mindy's probably not achieved what she probably should have in football. I think she's a great talent. I remember seeing her around the Future Matildas program over the years. She's obviously made a couple of moves in A-League clubs, but it's great to see her playing in the league.
Isabel Nino under a little bit of pressure. Couldn't find a teammate, and Mindy Barbieri started last week after Melina Ayres suffered a bit of a hip injury. Was a late out, and once again is staggering with that one is Aquino. The offside flag once more. Trying to get in those advanced areas, the Japanese forward.
It's a great little forward run here from her, just about now getting that timing right and having a look across the line and seeing where the Newcastle Jets defenders are.
Newcastle Jets turning it over. Way too deep in their own defensive half, giving Melbourne Victory the opportunity to win the ball back and forge an attack with ease as they move forward now. They can't make anything of it though. We've seen that a few times, just the Jets giving it away in poor areas, you'd say. Here's Pryor. Good pressing from Melbourne Victory though. Korea Aquino just shutting down that passing lane. Back to Isabel Nino. Pryor does well to evade the oncoming Wienert. Here's Chico, keeps it in play. A good first touch from her. Gary Van Egmond up on his feet in the technical area, asking his side to keep working. Still only a 1-goal deficit. We know how crazy this league can be, Knowles. We know how quickly things can change.
It sure can, Campbell, and Gary Van Egmond, as we know, is always very vocal on the sideline, and he will know that the team's lucky not to be more than 1-0 down at the moment, and you know he wants to keep momentum in this game. You want to at least take it to half-time and be no more than 1-0 down, and maybe even trying to get something back here.
Copus Brown was able to find Lauren Allen. And Lydia Williams keeps it in play. Jets' best opportunity for a while, and great to see Lydia Williams back in the Liberty A-League. Maybe Copus Brown has had a bit more of a lively game than last week. Perhaps going a little bit missing against the Wanderers at McDonald Jones Stadium. Here's Callum Knight. Rankin was at Brisbane Roar for the last few seasons. Coming through in the QAS. Came through as a left back where she's playing today, but last season played more as a centre back. We've seen that from a few aspiring Matildas. Seeing it from Grace Marr at Western United at the moment. More of a midfielder, dropping into defence.
It's really important when you do grow up the game being a defender that you can be versatile in being a fullback or a centre back, especially when you're playing, you know, in that national team level. You want to be able to be versatile,
especially as a left-footer too. As Gooch does very well, Williams does better, showing her experience, especially as a left-footer. Very rare trait, and especially left-footed centre backs. As we'll have another look back at it here, Lara Gooch, so busy at the start of this game for the Jets, and really the most incisive of Gary Van Egmont's players at the minute.
Whenever she gets on the ball, she's dangerous, right? She's got a lot of energy about her. She's done really well in that position. She's taken her touch forward. The only thing is, once she did get that last touch, you've got to try and cut it back there and look for players in the box.
You're probably hoping to find a runner hitting that penalty spot too. Someone at the near post, someone making that run towards the penalty spot as well. Give you some options. And it's about discipline and coaching. Here's Burrows. Lifting it in. Headed up by Pryor. Wiener. Chance of a handball potentially, but it's play on. Just a miscommunication between Jessica Nash and Mackenzie Wiener. Jessica Nash, another one of those players who came over from Sydney FC, didn't get too much game time with the Sky Blues, and since coming to Victory has really flourished. After coming through at Canberra as a youngster, Jessica Nash. The ball whipped in now and almost finding its way to Lauren Allen at the near post. Here's Murphy. Pulling a bit of a double pivot with Elise Keller-Knight today. Two holding midfielders. Here's Go. As assistance from Rankin is marked by Chico, who does very well to deny Beattie Goad, but does give away the corner.
Chico's done super well there. I remember when I was at Western Sydney Wanderers, she was a train-on with us for the whole season. Then she moved over to Wellington, and now she's taken an opportunity at the Newcastle Jets. And to see her playing and starting and getting minutes in this league, I think is fantastic for, you know, these junior Matildas that are getting these minutes and for their development.
Has performed very well in the NPL New South Wales for the last few years. Claudia Chico, still a youngster. As Murphy towards that back post, Isabel Nino stands tall and claims bundles over Korea Akito. No harm, no foul though. And a counter-attack for the Newcastle Jets. Gooch driving forward. Can she find Lauren Allen on that far side? Brought down by Tori Hansen and waved on by Anna-Marie Keeley. It's a bit of an awkward one between the two players, and a little bit slow to get back up. As you have a look on the replay in that bottom corner, Tori Hansen, a bit agricultural perhaps.
I don't know if we're playing football there or not. I'm not sure, Campbell.
It's the home of the Matildas, not the Wallabies or Wallaroos.
That was an interesting one from the referee to call a play on.
We like the game to flow though, and a foul that time on Claudia Chico, and a bit of a shove from Rachel Lowe too. Just gets a little bit of a talking to, as does Claudia Chico. Anna-Marie Keeley just trying to keep a lid on things at the moment. We saw how things can bubble over in round one in that F3 derby, and coming together towards the end, Nils. Something that Gary Van Egmont perhaps would have been happy with, but maybe not to see Alex Yun sent off in it though.
Alex Yun is just one of those players. She gives you everything. You know, she wears her heart on her sleeve, and I know what Gary's like as a coach as well. You want, you know, one in, all in. It's that sort of mentality for that team. And Alex Yun probably just had a little bit of a brain snap there, but was showing you know, that fight and that grit that she has for her team.
And as well, representing what Newcastle are all about as a city as well, working class town, city.
And that's probably why Alex Gielnik today is wearing that captain's armband. She's a leader. She wears her heart on her sleeve. She's always given everything for her team. Yes, sometimes she might have a brain snap here or there, but in terms of hard working, you know, such a great work ethic, and, you know, doesn't leave anything on the pitch. She always gives absolute everything for her teammates and for her team.
Just heard the footsteps of Korea Aquino and Mackenzie Weiner. I was just happy to see the sideline there. Alex Gielnik was really good against the Western Sydney Wanderers. Clean display from her. Here's Goad. Offside. Here's the call. Seen a fair bit of that in this first half. 30 minutes gone. A few times they've been denied by the flag, and once again giving it away cheaply, and Kellen Knight takes it with open arms. Has a first-time strike. Perhaps should have waited though, and Isabel Nino and the Newcastle Jets trying to play out of defence. She's giving it away far too easily at the minute.
That was poor from Nino. You've got to be really careful when you're playing out from the back there. You can't just kick it anywhere, and if you are going to kick it, you don't want to be kicking it down the barrel of a field. You want to be kicking it into those wide areas. But you could see Alex Gielnik's trying to get on the ball, trying to use Nino to be able to play out and to be able to, you know, start to progress this ball forward. But we need to get players on the ball. We need to see a bit more movement from those midfielders from the Newcastle Jets that want to get on the ball as well.
And it's such a key part of the modern game for goalkeepers. That's a brilliant move by Lara Gooch. Goalkeepers being able to play with their feet and link the play. You see it at all levels of the game. Here's Goad. Trying to look for that ball on the outside. It is a good one. Just can't find Rachel Lowe. The intent was there though from Beattie Goad, the former Melbourne City player.
You could see the ball before it even got to Beattie Goad, that Rachel Lowe is already starting her forward run, looking for that ball in behind. It just, obviously the quality of the pass didn't make it, but the actual run from Rachel Lowe was fantastic. Beattie Goad, what a story she is. Won the NCAA Women's Soccer Championship with Stanford, where she was studying a Bachelor of Science in Human Biology with a medical anthropology minor, and has now gone on to study medicine in Melbourne. A true all-rounder is Beattie Goad, and such a weapon for this Melbourne Victory side. A player who's played overseas too, in Germany and Spain. Beattie Goad. Jessica Nash driving forward now on the other side, finding Korea Aquino, striking it towards that bottom right corner, and Isabel Nino sticks out her palm and comes to the rescue for her side. Great from Isabel Nino. What a fantastic save by Nino. She's making up for those couple of errors in the first 15 minutes that she'd done, but fantastic strike and a great save by Nino.
And these American keepers in the Liberty A-League have become a mainstay over the last few years. Here's Kellen Knight towards Tori Hansen, headed away by Burrows. Allen coming back, but does find its way to Jessica Nash, who gets a bit of contact in the back from Burrows. And Jessica Nash just holding on to it, just to allow her some time, buy her some time to get back to that right back position.
Absolutely love that cheekiness by Jessica Nash. That's what you need. You don't want to be giving them the ball back and getting yourself caught out of position there.
Saw the exact same thing in the Western Sydney versus Perth Isuzu Ute A-League game yesterday. Saw the same thing from Johnny Katrumbis, running away with the ball, throwing it up into the air, buying himself some time.
A little bit of game management doesn't hurt anyone. That's what you want from your players. You don't want to be giving the ball back to the opposition and, you know, getting yourself caught out.
I can imagine a Cannoli coach side wouldn't do anything like that, though.
Never, Campbell, never.
Here's Goad, flicking it in behind for Aquino. Manages to get past Libby Copus-Brown. Chico diving in, still Korea Aquino. Does very well to maintain possession, takes a touch of Claudia Chico. Melbourne Victory, very dominant at the moment. And shouts of a handball of Claudia Chico there. Not seen by the officials though.
One that's been waved away by the officials there. Claudia Chico done well there to get back up and defend that cross, and she's very fortunate not to get a penalty kick there.
That's great from Gooch once more. Gets past the Melbourne Victory defence in Jessica Nash. Here's Barbieri striking from range. Kayla Morrison equal to it. And we've been singing Lara Gooch's praises all day long, and for good reason. She's been sensational down that left-hand side for Gary Van Egmond's team, and Claudia Chico trying to steal some metres there.
You'll take whatever you can get at this stage. I think the Newcastle Jets are doing well, trying to play out from the back. The unfortunate thing is that Alex Shawn or Natasha Pryor, when she gets on the ball, they're coming out to the fullbacks, but there's no midfielder there. They're really missing Cass Davis in the middle of the park that actually goes and picks up the ball and starts to make things happen for the Newcastle Jets, and that's something that they're missing today.
It's a great run from Rachel Lowe, and it can't be understated how big of an absence Cass Davis is from this side. 10 years of consecutive appearances, not missing a game. It's unheard of in the world of football, not just the Liberty A-League. It has to be a world record. We've got to get the stats boffins onto it, but geez, it is incredible.
Surely she's going to go into the Guinness Book of Records of the leading time of unmatched gains. But Cass Davis is someone that's just been a fantastic player for the Newcastle Jets, and what she's done is just unbelievable.
It's kept in by Wienert, and the flag stays down too, but won back very well by Lorena Bowman. A lung-busting run from Mackenzie Wienert. And as of last game, Cass Davis had played over 70% of the Newcastle Jets women's games that they played in the Liberty A-League. Like, simply staggering.
Unbelievable, isn't it, to know the numbers that she's been hitting and what she's done in this league, and to be loyal to the Newcastle Jets over all these years. It's just fantastic to see, and I don't think there's been enough recognition for someone like Cass Davis in this league and what she's done, and to be able to do that without missing a game, and to see her only miss the game today due to an infection in her foot. It's not even realistically an injury. It's unbelievable, and it's a massive credit to Cass Davis.
The Newcastle Jets women's all-time appearance maker hit that milestone last week. 132nd appearance, taking over from Tara Andrews' record, who retired last year. And she was the hero, Cass Davis, for her side. A sensational goal right at the death to rescue a point from it. And they're missing it today. Both their goal scorers for the season absent. Someone has to step up for the Jets. Who will it be? Hewen. Is Barbieri. Dundas. Threading it through, but active defence from Tori Hansen, stepping out, intercepting, stopping the play. Just too far ahead of Korea Aquino. Isabel Nino perhaps with a little bit more time than she thought, but did manage to find a player regardless. Here's Gooch. Such good close control from the youngster. Had a bit of a supporting role last year, coming off the bench. But this year, really stepping into her own today. A massive example of that against the side who may only have one win last week. Their first of the season in the original rivalry, but this Melbourne Victory side will no doubt be knocking on the doors for finals and the grand final at the end of the season.
Well, you would think so, Campbell. You'd think with the quality of players that they have on their squad list, I think is unbelievable to see the likes of Elise Keller-Knight and Emily Gielnik and Lydia Williams back in the A-Leagues, and with their exceptional talent and experience that they've had abroad and in the national team. Look, it was a bit of a shaky start in the beginning for them, but you would think come the back end of the season that they're going to be there in the top four.
One of the sides really shaking things up at the moment. Wellington Phoenix leading Western United by 3 goals. Just about 10 minutes to play. Boy, are they playing some good football this campaign under Paul Temple. Some young players really coming through. Macy Fraser as it's given away. But the foul on Mackenzie Wienert. She'll have a talking to and see a yellow card. She thought she'd robbed Tash Pryor of the ball, but instead sees a yellow card for this challenge right here.
Yeah, that's a bit of a heavy tackle, isn't it, from Wienert there? But as a striker, you do whatever you can to win that ball back and try and get an opportunity on goal.
Tori Hansen and Lara Gooch in a bit of a battle. The latter wins out, but just that ball not quite there. Not a whole lot of support for her though either.
That's the biggest problem there. Gooch is getting on the ball and she's getting herself into some good areas, but Mindy Barbieri, she needs to look for the ball, maybe look to combine with Gooch and look for a little 1-2 to be able to go forward. Unfortunate Gooch, there's only going to be so much time and energy that she can keep putting in until eventually you get to the point where you're putting it all in, but you're not getting much back out from it.
Great to see some fans on the far side, on the hill. Watching some football on your Sunday. It may be sunny as well, but still just under 20 degrees in Melbourne, so a nice temperature to be watching it today.
Perfect weather for football.
Pretty packed house too. The home of the Matildas. Melbourne Victory spending their first season here, newly constructed facility. A heavy collision on the near touchline too, it must be said, as Lauren Allen streaming down. Beattie Goad wins out, and she's a flexible player. Is Beattie Goad, can play in a number of positions down that left-hand side. And while Jamila Rankin recovers from the collision, just filling in at left back, Rachel Lowe linking up the play well. Here is Rankin, now getting in that advanced area. Tash Pryor equal to it, but that first touch just letting her down. Here's Lowe. Rankin.
It's a bit scary here for the Newcastle Jets. You've got Alex Shulman and Tash Pryor both on the same side, and got your centre backs out of position.
A little bit of disorganisation from the Jets at the moment.
What about the yellow ref?
Great to see plenty of fans up along the fence, lining around the ground. In what will be a record-breaking season, it already has been in the Liberty A-League. Great first-time ball from Rachel Lowe. Mackenzie Wienert clattered into the back by Lorena Bowman. And maybe Rachel Lowe could have spent a little bit more time there, but did find a teammate nonetheless.
A little bit of communication there as well to tell Rachel Lowe that she can turn and start driving into space. But you can see the clear differences here between Melbourne Victory and the Newcastle Jets. When the Victory get on the ball, you can see their clear identity of what they want to do. They want to play out. You can see Elise Kellen-Knight coming on the ball. If she comes low, then you've got Alana Murphy making another option for them. And then if both of them are marked, then you can see that Rachel Lowe is getting in between the lines and picking up the ball in the pocket, which is absolutely destroying the Newcastle Jets at the moment.
Wienert with the run in behind was a ghosting run, and once again fumbled by Isabel Nino. And Korea Aquino can't punish.
We nearly seen the exact same thing from the goal that punished them in the first 5 minutes. Great little run by Rachel Lowe, great cross in, and again Nino, she's just got to do better in that situation. If she comes out, she needs to be in her box.
As Kellen-Knight lining it up and dragging it wide. And once again the Jets turning it over in a vulnerable area. They have to tighten the screws at the moment. And I'm sure Gary Van Egmond will have some words to say at half-time for his side. Plugged in the hairdryer at the moment. Here's Wiener, cuts inside and just spoons it wide. 1 minute to be added on here at the home of the Matildas. And here is this opportunity for Korea Aquino. And in fact, it was the shot from Elise Keller-Knight, but all that opportunity purely started from the Jets giving it away once again in their own defensive third.
They haven't been great trying to play out from the back. There's no midfielders that are wanting to come and get on the ball, and again, that's been the clear differences between the Jets and the Victory today. And you know, once you don't have a clear plan of how you want to get yourself playing out from the back, it was an easy pickup for the Victory, where they actually pick up possession from the Newcastle Jets. And again, Elise Keller-Knight being that high up in the pitch, and you don't give someone like KK the opportunity in front of goal like that.
Heavy collision between Alex Ewan and Jamila Rankin. The latter diving into the challenge. Alex Ewan coming in over the top. I'll have a few words. Here is that replay. Mills, what do you make of this one?
I think it's just a bit of frustration in there as well from Alex Ewan. You could see in that moment, you just want to get to half-time. It's a tough one. She's committed herself there. She needs to make the tackle. It's just before half-time. You want to be making sure that you're going into the sheds, and it's only a 1-0.
Well, they will take this opportunity to head into the half-time break. Melbourne Victory lead at half-time. It is Melbourne Victory 1, Newcastle Jets 0. Well, it was just 2 minutes in for this to happen. Isabel Nino spilling it, and Rachel Lowe punishing to open her account for the Victory.
Great finish by Rachel Lowe there, but obviously a goalkeeping error by Nino. Nonetheless, you've got to give credit to the Melbourne Victory on a great build-up play to get to that. You can see here with Lara Gooch, she's done really, really well. She's absolutely backed herself with that strike to be able to get one just off Lydia Williams.
And the chances just kept on coming for Melbourne Victory. A few defensive errors. They were that close to a second for Rachel Lowe, not too much afterwards. And the Newcastle Jets really struggling to handle the Melbourne Victory. Korea Aquino with plenty of chances. That the best involvement from Isabel Nino. As we have a look at the halftime stats here in the Liberty A-League, possession fairly split. Melbourne Victory with plenty of shots in that first half as well. Passes fairly even. What have you made at halftime, Knowles?
I know the stats make the game look that it is even, but I think Melbourne Victory are way ahead in this match. They should be way more than 1-0 up. They should be at least 2 or 3 up with the opportunities that they've been creating as well.
Newcastle Jets with plenty to do in the second half. Join us just in a moment as the halftime, or the second half, is right around the corner. Geez, I wouldn't mind one of those right about now. At the home of the Matildas. A great first half, especially for Jeff Hopkins' side as they lead after the break. Rachel Lowe opening the scoring in the 2nd minute. And luckily for the Jets, they were able to hold off only just Knowles.
They were only just. There was a couple of times that Melbourne Victory had found themselves in some great positions. You can see here Rachel Lowe in a great position in the box just for a tap in and to get that 1-0 lead for the Melbourne Victory. But they've done really, really well the way they're playing out from the back. Their combination play has been fantastic today, and they've created plenty of opportunities to be more than 1-0 up.
On the other hand, the Newcastle Jets, throughout that first half, often their own worst enemy, giving away the ball. We saw there Isabel Nino, the goalkeeper, giving away the ball, just fumbling it into the path of Rachel Lowe. We saw that another 2 times in that first half at least. And then the defence as well, just giving away possession, giving Melbourne Victory the opportunity to create an opportunity.
Absolutely. You can see the Newcastle Jets have been really reactive at times. You can see that they want to play up from the back, but it's unfortunate that none of those midfielders are actually going to get on the ball. You've got Libby Copus-Brown that's got plenty of experience in this competition. You've obviously got Dundas there as well, which is quite young. She's only 16, so a little bit nerve-wracking for her. I'd like to see Libby Copus-Brown dropping in a little bit more and giving some options to Alex Shun and Natasha Pryor to be able to actually play out from the back and to get on the ball and trying to create something for the Newcastle Jets.
Probably the brightest thing for the Jets in that first half, Lara Gooch, fantastic down that left-hand side. I'm sure we'll see plenty of that from her in this second. But how do they capitalise on that, of her getting in good spaces, making things happen? How do they capitalise on it? I
think she's been fantastic. I think what the Newcastle Jets need to thrive with her energy as she does start to drive forward and starts to take players on. Players need to start to see, okay, well, she is coming into these great areas. How can I combine with Lara Gooch? How can we go forward together? How can we work together to get into those, deeper areas, especially in the 18-yard box, or making runs to be able to allow her to continue herself driving with the ball and getting shots off on her goal.
And Rachel Lowe, she opened the scoring, but playing in a bit of that false 9/number 10 role. How good has she been picking up those central areas and dropping deep to link the play?
She's perfect in that position. I think she's fantastic the way she can get herself in between lines, the way she picks up the ball and be able to drive forward. Her forward runs have been fantastic, but the role that Jeff Hopkins has got Rachel Lowe playing in, I think suits her to a T.
Well, the Melbourne Victory will fancy themselves. They've won the last 7 meetings against the Newcastle Jets. They'll be looking to make that 8 in a row. And Emily Gielnik is on for Korea Aquino, the Matilda. Emily Gielnik, so she'll get 45 minutes to have a go. Great to see her back in the Liberty A-League. Came back just the other week. And now getting some real meaningful minutes in this second half.
It's fantastic to see Emily Gielnik back in the A-Leagues. You can see what it means to her coming on at half-time.
And here she is taking the strike. An early involvement off the woodwork. Palmed on by Isabel Nino. And Emily Gielnik, welcome back. Just 55 seconds into this second half. An early involvement from Rage.
She would be absolutely raring to go, Emily Gielnik. You can see she's got half a sniff here. She's not passing this ball at all. She's taking the strike. She's going herself. And she'll have this confidence coming into this game. She would have been disappointed that she didn't start, but I think it's very smart from Jeff Hopkins as player management to be able to ease her back into the competition, knowing that it's a full home and away season this year.
Spoke to her earlier in the week and she said the same thing. Coming back from that injury, Victory just trying to load manage her on her return. And we spoke earlier off air, Kath, about how now with the longer season, teams can rest players for 2 games and build them back into full fitness rather than perhaps having to rush them in the past.
Managers need to be a lot smarter now in the way they manage their players and the way the medical team, look at players and look at the whole situation. Obviously, Emily Gielnik's injury has been a long-term injury. She hasn't played for a very, very long time. And sometimes when you are focusing on the certain injury, what some medical teams forget is that what about all the other things that come? Like they could get soft tissue injuries from not playing, high minutes. So I think it's fantastic the way the Melbourne Victory have managed to.
That's a beautiful ball in behind for Emily Gielnik, showing her strength, landing on Alex Ewan. Beatty Goad still alive for the victory. It was a brilliant ball in behind from Jessica Nash, I believe, and a great run from Emily Gielnik.
Great ball from Nash there and a great run from Emily Gielnik. Just unfortunate the way she's allowed that ball to come across her. She hasn't timed that quite well, but to have already 2 opportunities, she's only been on a couple of minutes, is fantastic for her.
Victory once again winning the ball back in a high area. They can't make anything of it though. And Alana Murphy, a bit of a silent achiever in that midfield so far today, doing a lot of the dirty work. Usually playing a little bit further advanced than she is today, but forming a bit of a double pivot in midfield with Elise Callan-Knight. 2 players at the other end of the spectrum. Elise Callan-Knight into her twilight years, and Alana Murphy just bursting through on the scene.
Murphy and KK are actually forming a great relationship on the pitch, and you can see there's at times where KK gets herself forward and Alana Murphy's holding that ground.
And a yellow card shown for this one right here. Jamila Rankin just catching Lauren Allen, her heel. And the youngster from Lismore seeing a yellow card. Barbieri standing over the free kick for the moment.
You can see here on the replay here, just clips her. It's just an unfortunate one, but got to see what the Newcastle Jets can make from this situation. They've pushed up Pryor and Hyun.
Yellow card for Rankin. Barbieri standing over it. Opts to go out wide for Dundas. It's marked well by Lowe. Gets past her though. The youngster falls for Hewen. Cleared eventually by Elise Callan-Knight. And was hoofed forward, but to no particular direction. Here's Williams. Murphy at the base of midfield, ready to dictate play. Beatty Goad and Emily Gielnik just drifting into an offside position. We saw that plenty in the first half from Korea Aquino, and a little bit of a stylistic shift in the forwards now with Emily Gielnik, a bit more of a brute of a forward, big physical player compared to Korea Aquino, who's trying to make that run in behind in that first half. So how will that affect how they line up? Does Mackenzie Wienert potentially go a little bit wider?
You might see that Emily Gielnik will come a little bit deeper to try and pick up the ball, which will allow Rachel Lowe to get her forward runs and get in behind a little bit more as well, which you can see here. You can see Emily Gielnik's making her way across, and then that allows Rachel Lowe to pick up that space in the middle.
And it's one back by Rankin. Here's Goad, an early ball in towards Mackenzie Wienert. Just can't quite keep it under her grasp, but I believe the offside flag went up regardless, and it did. As Isabel Nino trying to get the play started. She didn't see it go up, and this is good from Jamila Rankin, just to keep the ball in a high area for her side. And once again, Melbourne Victory trying to beat that defensive line, but just get a little bit too eager, as we saw in the first half.
It was, but you've got to give credit to Beatty Goad there, the way she's actually shaped that ball with her left foot to be able to get that ball in behind the fence. It's unfortunate that it was offside and the timing of the run was a little bit off.
Gielnik just struggling a little bit. Here's Nino. Finds its way to the Newcastle Jets players. Barbieri looking to switch towards Lauren Allen on that far side. Brilliant out of defence from Kayla Morrison. Scored last week in the original rivalry clash against Adelaide United. Their first win of the season. Here's Wiener. Murphy. Good ball for the American Wiener. Jessica Nash trying to win it high. Murphy does so in the end. Here is Murphy trying to deliver it towards that back post, and Isabel Nino does hang on. Here's Allen. Jets trying to play direct football. Get it down the other end of the pitch as quick as possible. Here's Allen. Well marked by Jamila Rankin. Does well to shut down the play. B to go driving forward now for the victory. Here's Gielnik. Making her way into the box, across the face towards Wiener. And just can't find her. And geez, Emily Gielnik is looking lively off the bench.
She sure is. The way she picks up that ball in those wide areas, that's her bread and butter there, Gielnik. The way she puts that ball across the face, it's such a dangerous cross. And it's just unfortunate that Melbourne Victory couldn't get something on that.
Tori Hansen made her debut last week. Emma Checker out with a hamstring injury for the Melbourne Victory. Has looked pretty assured today. Hasn't been made to do too much, though, it must be said. Here's Allen. First time ball. Kayla Morrison does well to meet it. They give it away. In fact, as Beatty Goad gets back on the ball. Very back and forth game at the moment. Both sides struggling to break it down. Here's Gooch. Offside is the call on Lauren Allen.
Lauren Allen's got to do a lot better in that position there. You're not getting these opportunities. They're not coming too often for the Newcastle Jets, and once you do get into those areas, you want to make the most of it. You could see on the opposite side to where Gooch is playing, when Lauren Allen is getting on the ball, I would like to see, you know, Claudia Chico making an overlapping run, trying to create something to go forward for the Newcastle Jets. At the moment, you can see the ball's getting played, and then you're starting to see players stand here. Prime example here, forward run allows Gooch to be able to get forward and drive forward, but they need more of it.
Gielnik trying to make that run in behind, does very well, beats Tash Pryor. Can she put it past Izzy Nino? Doesn't manage to do so. The American able to save, but a brilliant run in behind from Emily Gielnik, the Matilda.
Emily Gielnik and Tash Pryor there in a bit of a foot race. She needs to do better there, Gielnik. She needs to take a touch across Tash Pryor, which then puts her in a difficult position where she actually needs to either just jockey Emily Gielnik or make a tackle, and she needs to set herself up better to take that touch forward to be able to get a better strike off on goal.
Also take this time to give a massive congratulations to the Paramatildas, who just the other day, you may see some different field markings there. They did beat Japan in the final and became the IFCPF Asia Oceania champions, so a massive congratulations to them. Just the other night here at the home of the Matildas, a great moment for them.
Fantastic moment for them, and congratulations to Kelly Sturton and her whole team. I think it's just fantastic. You know, we always say you can't be what you can't see, and to see these ladies be able to play football at this level and to represent Australia, I think is absolutely phenomenal.
Great run by Beatty Goad, manages to pick back up the ball. Goad marked by 3 players. Copus Brown trying to get back. Pryor under pressure. Does manage to clear though. And it's a fantastic achievement, that's for sure. Fairly even on the possession side of things. You can see Kayla Morrison there with a heavily strapped right knee. Has obviously struggled over the last few years with injury. Made her return last campaign. Great to see her back out there wearing the captain's armband for her side. Here's Gielnik. Tori Hansen does very well, but does give away possession in the end. Melbourne Victory, I'm sure, will be looking to add to their lead, add some comfort to it. They're certainly on top of things, but they haven't capitalised at the minute. Kayla Morrison. In fact, it is Beatty Goad, I believe, on that far side. And Jamila Rankin getting some treatment. In fact, hopefully nothing's too serious for her. As we have a look here, just that right knee. Perhaps just a little bit of blood coming from it by the looks of things. Getting the towel out, spraying a bit of water on it. Patch it back up and we'll be good to go. Once more, I'm sure. Here's Pryor. Burrows.
You can see Burrows now is sitting a little bit deeper, trying to pick up the ball there from the centre backs, wanting to get on the ball, which is good for Newcastle Jets. They need to keep possession. They don't want to be giving away the ball too cheaply, especially in those dangerous areas.
Becca Burrows, the New Zealander, her first season with the Newcastle Jets. Played in her home country with Three Kings United, Eastern Suburbs and Glenfield Rovers, winning multiple premierships as well. Also played in Victoria with Heidelberg United, and Emily Gielnik down at the moment, and you hate to see it. Hopefully nothing serious, obviously coming back from injury. Emily Gielnik. And looks frustrated more than anything.
That's not good signs for Melbourne Victory, and not good signs for Melbourne Victory. You can see the frustration in her face and the disappointment. She's definitely feeling something. You can see the way she's actually just dropped to the floor, and you can see the frustration, the way she hits her hands on the ground, and the physio's right over there. And it'll be disappointing to see Emily Gielnik come off this pitch after having a fantastic start to this second half.
Must have been from something prior. She is back up on her feet, so that's the positive. Whether she'll be able to continue, a little bit doubtful, just out of precaution.
She is, but she knows that she's done something. She's felt something. She knows that she's coming straight off. You could see the way the ball was completely out of play. She's absolutely devastated to see this second game back from such a long, hard injury that she's overcome. And this will be super disappointing for Emily Gielnik.
Ella O'Grady taking her place. Two players who were born in Melbourne but migrated to Brisbane. Queensland has youngsters now back in Victoria. We wish Emily Gielnik a speedy recovery. Hopefully nothing major. Such a quality player as we've seen in her 15 minutes on the pitch today.
Hopefully with Emily's experience, obviously knowing her body and playing football at this highest level for such a long period of time, hopefully it's just a little tweak that she possibly may have felt that she didn't want to continue on with, and hopefully it's not too long on the sidelines and we see her back in the Melbourne Victory team.
Hopefully she'll play a big part of Melbourne Victory's campaign, a big star in the Liberty A-League. Golden Boot winner with Brisbane previously. Here's Rankin. Gielnik can pick it up, but Marina Bowman does very well just to win it back. Just under 30 minutes still to play here at the home of the Matildas.
Even though the Melbourne Victory are dominating this game, it's still scary to only be 1-0 up. You know, if Newcastle Jets do get a goal back and bring this game level, it just gives you that sniff that you need, and it gives you that you can rise from that.
It can certainly happen. Only takes one moment to change things, to change the whole complexity of the game. especially just with the 1-goal lead. Here's Beattie Goad. Can they make it two? Headed away by Pryor. She's been very solid at the back for the Newcastle Jets at the start of this season. Even though they have struggled a little bit, still a bit more positive than last year, it must be said. They conceded 53 goals in 18 games last year, the Newcastle Jets. So, if nothing else, much tighter defensively.
Absolutely. And, you know, Tash Pryor and Alex Shewan are both two solid defenders that work so hard, and they're just such tough defenders as well. To try and break that down, you know, it's always not going to be easy for any team. And to see them have a better start, it is positive. But we've also got to look at this team and say, okay, well, where are we going to get goals from? You know, defensively they're doing better, but to win games and to get points, you need to start seeing where are the goals coming from.
And the handball is blown up on Claudia Chico. And if you're a coach coming in a side that is perhaps lacking firepower, or perhaps not one of the front runners in the competition, is that the first thing you address, is tighten the screws, tighten the defence?
Of course, you always talk about defences win you titles, right? And defensively, you don't want to be leaking goals. And you need to be obviously building foundations as a coach and building on from that. Gary Van Egmon's obviously gone out to sign Melina Ayres, which I think is a top signing, but it's just unfortunate. She's had, you know, a lot of injuries. It's been a struggle for her over the years in the Liberty A-League to be able to get consistent time, and obviously it's a massive downfall for the Jets.
Murphy delivering, headed down by Pryor. Rachel Lowe makes it two for the afternoon. Two for her, two for the victory, and two for her season. A sensational strike. She opened the scoring in the 2nd minute, and now in the second half doubles her account.
What a fantastic strike by Rachel Lowe. Her technical ability is second to none. She's great when she gets on the ball. She doesn't even think twice. The deliveries come in. Again, Newcastle Jets being very reactive in their defensive duties. Rachel Lowe in the right place at the right time, doesn't even think twice, just gets her knee over the ball. The technique is absolutely spot on.
2-0, Melbourne victory. They'll be happy about that, that's for sure. Looked almost like it took a bit of a deflection on its way through. Perhaps, either way, Rachel Lowe will be claiming it.
Doesn't matter what it took, she's absolutely nailed that strike. The technique in the way she gets her body over the ball is just fantastic. In those moments, you just got to hit it and hope for the best, and it's 2-0 to Melbourne victory.
And a foul. And Mackenzie Wienert given away by Rebecca Burrows. Jeff Hopkins with plenty to say about it too.
Jeff's always got plenty to say on the sidelines. I've been coached by Jeff, and you can just, when you go home at night, you can hear his voice in the background.
Zella O'Grady in behind for the victory. They make it 3! If the flag stays down, her second for the Melbourne victory. She scored in round 1. And she does the same in round 4. Fantastic. In her first season for the Melbourne victory, her first season in the Liberty A-League. Ella O'Grady, just 18 years of age, makes it 2.
Fantastic finish by Ella O'Grady. Great forward runs there. You can see by Elise Keller-Knight and O'Grady as well. You can see the Melbourne victory's done well in that transition moment to turn them around, and it just caught Tash Pryor out of position, and fantastic finish.
And the floodgates have opened. The QAS product getting on the scoreboard. It was very good in the Queensland NPL for the QAS for a long time, given she is only 18, but not picked up by the Brisbane Roar. Melbourne victory have seen something, brought her in, and 2 goals. Can't argue with that.
You can't, and I'm sure Jeff Hopkins still has plenty of contacts in the Queensland NPL. He spent many years there as a successful coach with the Brisbane Roar, and to see obviously the likes of Elise Keller-Knight and Emily Gielnik, who he has coached at the Brisbane Roar, to come back and play for Melbourne victory goes to show what type of manager he is, to be able to lure them back into the A-League and to come back to Melbourne victory.
Kellen Knight sweeping up at the base of midfield, does give it away though. And won back very well by Beatty Goad. Having a great game so far. It's won back by the Swiss international Lorena Bowman. We've been told with Emily Gielnik, potential left calf or ankle. Hopefully not too long for her.
Let's hope so. And as we were saying earlier, when you come back from a long-term injury, sometimes it's not re-injuring that same injury. It's about the soft tissue muscles that you have issues with.
It was a fantastic ball. And Ella O'Grady just drifting offside. But the ball from the base of midfield really opening things up and splitting the Newcastle Jets defence. And a potential booking here too. Perhaps just a substitution for the Newcastle Jets by the sounds of things. Lauren Allen going off on the far side. And Millen Hammond coming on. Made a debut last week against the Western Sydney Wanderers. Melbourne Victory look to put their foot down, put their foot on the gas. Nash will take the throw in. And a good opportunity for Milan Hammond. Here's Murphy. Pryor. Copus Brown has to put her Newcastle Jet side on her shoulders. Take on that responsibility as a senior player. Alani Murphy able to win it back. And it was a double change for the Newcastle Jets. Sophie Hoban coming on, who just a few seconds into the game last week saw a yellow card. Didn't take her long, the 22-year-old.
And that's not like Sophie Hoban. Again, another youngster that I had at the Western Sydney Wanderers as a train-on for the whole season. Plays in the NPL for the Apia Tigers as well, which is fantastic to see her have such a great season in the NPL and to be able to be picked up by the Newcastle Jets. She's someone that also has an eye for goal, and given the opportunity to be able to link up with more strikers to be able to get into those, dangerous areas, I'd like to see what she's got in this competition.
Big opportunity for her today. 20 minutes still to play here at the home of the Matildas. Beautiful day in Melbourne. Here's Hammond. Alana Murphy, first touch letting her down slightly, not made to pay for it though. Sophie Hoban claiming that it came off a Victory player, didn't in the end though, and a change being made for the Victory as well. By the looks of things, Sarah D'Apollonia coming on, the American. And Elise Kellon Knight making way. Great to see one of those players who came to Australia to play in the NPL, up in Queensland in fact, for Peninsula Power. Was scouted by Jeff Hopkins to join the Melbourne Victory, playing into what you were talking about just before, Kath Canuli, about Jeff Hopkins' contacts up in Queensland, still active. Of course, Peninsula Power, the junior club of both Larissa Crummer and Courtney Vine as well. Two Matildas. Beatty Goad threading it through. Ella O'Grady just trying to chase it down after D'Apollonia played it through. Here's Bowman. Here's Hyun. Claudia Chico. Solid game at right back today for the Newcastle Jets. Here is Mackenzie Weiner. Big collision between her and Lorena Bowman. Just hanging on to that left leg. Still out there though. Mackenzie Weiner. One of the goal scorers from last week. And a bit of an awkward one between Alex Hyun and Beattie Goat on that far side. Here's Williams. Over 100 caps for the Matildas, part of that Women's World Cup squad. Didn't play though, but such a senior figure in that setup.
Huge part of the Matildas setup, Lydia Williams. Even though she doesn't play as much as she used to, she's such a key figure in that team. She's got so much experience, and she's one of those old ducks that keeps the glue together in that team. And to see her back playing in the Liberty A-League is fantastic. I'm sure even for young Miranda Templeman, what a role model she will be to be able to help her in her progression of her career as well.
35 years of age, Lydia Williams. Returned to Australia from Brighton and Hove Albion. A few former A-Leagues players there at the moment. Mackenzie Hawkesby and Charlie Rule, as well as Madison Haley. Great to see. Previously spent time with Paris Saint-Germain. Now the home of Claire Hunt. And Arsenal, which is becoming known as Arsenal after Caitlin Ford, Steph Catley, and now Kyra Cooney-Cross, a former Melbourne Victory player, as well as Steph Catley. Now there.
How fantastic was it to see Kyra get her first start for Arsenal, and to see her go to such a big club and start to get minutes and start to form her own there is fantastic to see for Kyra.
Once again, the Liberty A-League, where you can see that next batch of Matildas coming through. Wasn't that long ago that Kyra Cooney-Cross was in the Liberty A-League. Mackenzie Weiner in a little bit of pain at the moment. She's had some heavy hits today, that's for sure. Looks to just be clutching onto her ribs potentially there. Hopefully nothing major.
She has been absolutely battled today, and you know, she's been putting herself into some really tough situations, but you can see she's a fighter. She wants to win that ball. She doesn't shy away from a challenge, which is fantastic to see.
Here is this incident, just going down on the leg of Emma Dundas. No ill intent from the Newcastle Jets youngster, but just falling down onto the ribs there. A tough one, perhaps a little bit winded. Hopefully nothing broken. And I'll give the opportunity for Ava Brightis to come on. Another youngster. Was with the club last year, her maiden campaign. Now she'll get a bit of time on the pitch. And Mackenzie Weiner get a little bit of ice. Jessica Nash to take the throw in. It's been great since coming to Melbourne Victory, and ever present in at right back for Jeff Hopkins since coming to the club.
It was a massive move for Jessica Nash to move away from Sydney FC, especially with all the success that they've had, to be able to move across to Melbourne Victory, and to see her get, you know, consistent minutes here at Victory. I think it's a credit to her, and you know, it's great for her progression in her career as well.
Big leap of faith too. Obviously two powerhouses of this league, Sydney FC and Melbourne Victory. Was at Canberra United prior to that, where she really broke out. Kayla Morrison just struggling to clear it. Does get enough on it though, but gives away the corner in the process. Looks like the Newcastle Jets getting ready to make a change as well. Will be the corner first though. Burrows Lifting it in towards Kayla Morrison with some hands in the back there. The strike did come in after the fact. Tash Pryor just asking whether it was a foul, and in fact a penalty. She may have a fair case too.
I think she does. You can see where she puts both her hands on her back, and you can see Tash Pryor the way she falls to the ground. But it was a great delivery there by Burrows nonetheless.
Josie Wilson coming on for the Newcastle Jets. Libby Copus-Brown's day comes to an end, and it gives the opportunity for Josie Wilson to come on.
It's great to see Josie Wilson get her opportunity here in the Liberty A-League. She's a Northern Tigers junior. She's played in the NPL for many years. She started off at Northern Tigers, and she's played in their senior team and their senior setup. And to see her get the opportunity, I think it's fantastic, not only for Josie, but also for the Northern Tigers and what they've been doing for women's football in their region.
Here's Nash. She's given a lot of room. Momentarily, Lorena Bowman able to intercept, but it's won back almost by Rachel Lowe. It just goes down, hanging onto the ankle, and does get the foul for it. In fact, I think Rachel Lowe's a bit confused about it as well. Let's have a look at it. Lorena Bowman steps out and just coming down on that right ankle. Fair enough. Good decision by the officials in the end.
You can see there, though, the way Rachel Lowe puts her body in between the ball and the player. Just the quality of being able to do that and draws that foul.
Beatty Goad standing over it, delivering towards that far post, headed away by Hune, and twisting and turning is Ella O'Grady. A little bit of a painful one for her as Alana Murphy can't stay on her feet. The Jets with a counter attack. Can they capitalise? Here's Gooch trying to thread it through for Sophie Hoban. Can't find her though, but it will be a throw in for them. And a heavy collision in the box here for Ella O'Grady.
It was a tough one. The way she just stuck her leg out and the way she's twisted her body around was just a bit of a tough collision there.
Rachel Lowe clearing it for Melbourne victory. Dapolonia gives away possession. Here's Hammond still going. Does Gooch get through? She just can't quite manage to get a touch on it and skip past the Melbourne victory defence. O'Grady makes a move inside, tries to do a little bit too much with it. Potential foul there, not given though. It's play on. And it's a beautiful ball threaded through for Beatty Goad. Can she make the most of this one? Josie Wilson physical with her and does very well in the end. It's a great ball through from Rachel Lowe, which we've seen all day long. And there will be a yellow card. Anna Marie Keeley just scouring to see who it needs to go to. And it does go the way of Sophie Hoban. Got a yellow card last week. Gets another one this week. A good conversion rate for her.
She's making a bit of a habit of this, isn't she? Coming on the pitch and copping a yellow card. Hopefully she's putting plenty of money into the tin at training come Monday.
She'll be paying for the whole Bali away trip at the end of season. At this rate. Here's Bridus. Skips around Dundas. Rachel Lowe asked to do a lot. And Lorena Bowman smart to get rid of it, but also get her side a throw in.
You can see the game starting to open up here. Newcastle Jets has got to be really on their game and keep their discipline, because you don't want this game to blow out.
And it goes the other way. Lorena Bowman not getting the throw in the end. Thought there was a clear contact from Rachel Lowe, but the officials opting otherwise. Dapolonia heading it on, but to no avail. Here's Chico getting in more advanced positions now, and Josie Wilson, the ball just a little bit too heavy for her.
She needs to do better in that situation, Chico. She's done really well. You know, I know you're getting tired. You start to, you know, the heavy legs, but you've got to hit feet there and try and progress yourself forward.
Gemma Simon is on the bench today. Spent last season with the Melbourne Victory. Hasn't been seen yet as Brytis does very well to get around Lorena Bowman. Tash Pryor, the hero, able to intercept for the Newcastle Jets. And you'd have to think Jeff Hopkins will be very happy with how his side have played today. Very controlled in the game. Maybe a few opportunities have gone begging, but for the most part they've been quite clinical. 3-0 lead at the moment. Still probably about 10 minutes to play, give or take. He'd be pretty happy with how his side are looking at the moment.
I think he will be. I think he'll be super happy that they've picked up another 3 points and they can keep progressing on in this competition. But knowing Jeff Hopkins, and come Monday when they're back on the pitch, he'd want to see more out of his squad, and making sure that when you are creating those opportunities, that you are taking your chances when they come.
A little bit of a scuffle there between a few youngsters. Ava Brytis, Emma Dundas and Lara Gooch. It's a little bit of a argument there of where it's whose throw-in is it? Where is it being taken? It is pulled back. I mean, you can play on, but a little bit of fire in the youngsters. Something to prove. Always good to see, though.
I love seeing that little bit of fire in the belly from the youngsters. And, you know, even though the Newcastle Jets are 3-0 down, to be able to want to still be fighting for that and wanting to claim that that's your ball and getting on it.
And here is Gemma Simon. Mentioned her just before, as Claudia Chico makes way after a good day in the office for her. Maybe not on the score sheet, but a solid game for the Newcastle Jets. And Gemma Simon, so experienced, now into the side where she played last year. A good addition. Great to see her back playing for the Newcastle Jets. Her return.
It's great to see Gemma back at the Newcastle Jets, where it all began for her. And it's always a tough one for Gemma. She's been so injury prone over the past few seasons in the Liberty A League, and hopefully this is a start for her to get her back on the pitch and start building up into some minutes, because she can be a really good role model for someone like a Claudia Chico that's actually coming through. Chico's had a massive shift today, and one thing that you can't fault with Chico is effort.
Gemma Simon, a member of the inaugural Newcastle Jets women's team, and is brought back just for that foul there. Lorena Bowman crunching down on Ava Brytis. 10 Matildas caps as well for Gemma Simon, and as well her cousin Kaya Simon started today for the Central Coast Mariners. Wouldn't that be a fun one in the F3 derby? Kaya Simon up against Gemma. Great to see 2 Matildas in the league. Plenty out there today, mainly for Melbourne Victory, and plenty returning after that World Cup cycle. Tamika Yallop, namely, as well. Lydia Williams. And a lost corner flag potentially just straying through the middle of the field. You hope it's not the officials' one, that's for sure. I'm sure Melbourne Victory will be happy with that, as Ella O'Grady striking away. They've been caught offside plenty of times, particularly in the first half.
You can see with that corner flag flying around, it's typical Melbourne weather, isn't it? Great little strike there from Ella O'Grady. She just didn't get her head over the ball enough to be able to keep that ball down, and you can see here with the conditions obviously playing its part as well.
Izzy Nino to get us back underway after a short stoppage just to get that flag back in the middle of the pitch. And Nash bundled over. Lorena Bowman clutching her face immediately.
It's a tough one there. Nino's played that ball into Bowman. With the conditions at the moment, to play that ball in the air, she just gets kicked in the face there, but she's had a tough shift today.
It's a quick free kick from the Victory. They can't make anything of it though. Gooch trying to play direct football. Get it up the other end. Time is running out. If they want to get anything out of this game, it'll take a mammoth final few minutes. As Goad steps inside. Apollonia takes a touch on its way through. And one of the most bizarre own goals you may ever see. Sarah Apollonia will take the credit for it, but it took its way through, and it's 4 for Melbourne victory. And a tough day in the office for the Newcastle Jets, personified by that moment.
You know, once you get into that area, you need to pull the trigger. Whatever happens, happens. Just unfortunate the deflection that's come off here, and it's gone in the back of the net for victory, and 4-0 it is.
It's a good finish from Rebecca Burrows, to be fair. A tough angle for it, one she may not want to look back at. A 4-0. So the Melbourne victory, they'll take it any way they can. And Rachel Lowe was caught drinking there and just threw the bottle down as play got started.
Getting a quick little squirt in there. She's had a tough day today. She's worked really hard. She's gotten herself on the ball. She's worked really hard for the Melbourne victory, and even though she has scored the 2 goals, she's also been involved in a lot of the build-up as well.
Sensational day for Rachel Lowe, that's for sure. Ella O'Grady played in behind. Apollonia making that run forward, wrestling with Tash Pryor and brought down. Ava Brightus, another agricultural challenge.
It's important here that Newcastle Jets just stay disciplined and really ride out the rest of this game. Again, you don't want to be copying goals for no reason. Just stay controlled in the game. Don't rush things, slow things down.
Ava Brightus, the 17-year-old, just told to settle down a little bit. Just moments left here at the home of the Matildas. Rankin. A good opportunity for her to spread her wings at a new club. She's done well today. There's Jamila Rankin after coming over from the Brisbane Roar. A difficult one for Alex Hume. Gives it away. Apollonia has O'Grady in the middle. Threaded through. Can't get it. To a good place for her to get a shot off. 4 minutes added on. Gemma Simon just caught up a little bit.
Again, we talk about game management. Even when you're losing, you need to have that game management as well. I know, the likes of Sophie Hoban is energetic and they want to get up and they want to get opportunities, but at this point in time, you're down 4-0. There's 4 minutes of stoppage time left. Let's be smart about it. We don't want to concede any more goals.
Hammond just sending it forward to no particular direction. That's really good from Rachel Lowe just to evade Emma Dundas. Here's Apollonia, the American. And this is that game management you're talking about. Kath Canuli, head to the corner flag. 4 goals up, 3 minutes to play. Jeff Hopkins will want to keep it in this area of the pitch. Beattie Goad has other ideas. Eyes up. Tries to have a crack.
She's done really well there, Beattie Goad, the way she's used her body to be able to roll the player, and again, gets her head up, knows where the goals is, and has a crack, which is great to see.
And Bowman. Simon. First time delivery towards the edge of the box. It'll find its way all the way to Sophie Hoban. Can she get a shot away? Tries to be a little bit too cute with it. Trying to find a teammate. It's still alive for the Jets, though. And it's won back by Apollonia, who's had a great shift off the bench. The play over from Peninsula Power. This is brilliant play. O'Grady gives it away to Bright. Is getting the strike away and fumbled over the bar. That handling from Izzy Nino not made to pay, as she was in the first half. And a nervy moment for Newcastle Jets fans.
there. You could see the way that Breedis has actually taken her touch there. She's taken her touch away from goal. If she actually takes her touch forward towards goal, she can actually set herself up a little bit better to be able to get a better strike on goal. You can see the replay here. Her touch has gone away. She needs to take that touch forward towards the goal, which then sets herself up. Even though she has hit it on target, she can give herself a better opportunity in that situation.
Just needing to go either side of Isabel Nino as well. A little bit more direction. It doesn't really help you just putting it on target. If it's in the middle, you've got to find those corners. Something that young players are taught more and more. Shots on target for shots on target's sake aren't necessarily helpful.
Absolutely, and the main thing about it is the way that the player does take their touch. Where are they taking their touch? Is it away from goal? Is it towards goal? How do you set your body up for the shot? And that's always important.
Still only 17 over Brightis. Has played for Cordy United in the Victorian NPL Women's. He's been shown some good faith by Jeff Hopkins. And Jessica Nash, you can see that left wrist. She's shaking it around a little bit. It is taped up. And she doesn't want to take the throw in potentially for that reason. She fell heavily on it just before. So maybe just a little bit of an issue with that left wrist of Jessica Nash. Hopefully nothing major for her.
You don't want to be losing the likes of Jessica Nash coming into the next game. I think she's been fantastic for the Melbourne Victory. The way she goes forward, the way defensively, she's been fantastic.
It's a 4-goal rout for Melbourne Victory. Rachel Lowe with the double as she opened her account, and Melbourne Victory win their 8th straight meeting over the Newcastle Jets. A fantastic performance from Jeff Hopkins' side. Ella O'Grady with a late one as well before an own goal late from Rebecca Burrows. A very happy Melbourne Victory camp, and as they should be, as it ends at the home of the Matildas. Melbourne Victory 4, Newcastle Jets 0. Well, it was a fast start for the Melbourne Victory by Izzy Nino, and Rachel Lowe didn't need an invitation.
She never does. She's always in the right place at the right time, and she's just slotted that away perfectly. You can see here the delivery into the box again. Fantastic technique, getting the head, arming that away really, really nicely into the back of the net.
And for the Newcastle Jets, on the other hand, I mean, Ella O'Grady coming off the bench for Emily Gielnik. They've now failed to score in 7 of their last 11 matches, something that they'll need to address, particularly with Melina Ayres out.
It's a really tough one for the Newcastle Jets. They're going to have to look at ways that they can create goal-scoring opportunities, but a main one for them is to get Melina Ayres back onto the pitch as quick as possible.
And Cass Davis, a big miss for them as well. Rebecca Burrows stepping in to take her place. One of the more bizarre own goals you will see. Now let's have a look at how the stats panned out in this game. A massive win for Melbourne Victory, and it shows here.
Huge win for Melbourne Victory. They created so many chances. You can see here they've got 8 shots on target, but the amount of chances that they did make, it could have been a lot more than 4-0 for the Melbourne Victory today.
Well, they'll be a very happy side. Jeff Hopkins, they get back-to-back wins for the first time this season. They lost their first 2 games, and now 2 wins on the trot. Having a chat with his former player, Gemma Simon, as well. They get their 8th consecutive win over the Newcastle Jets as it ends here at the home of the Matildas. Melbourne Victory 4, Newcastle Jets 0.